Okay, this is my second time doing this video. I don't know, I didn't like the first one because it was all washed out because I had my HDR on and that wasn't really compatible with OBS, so I'm a little sad. But, alright, this is me, Lala Simmer. I'm showing you how I convert hairs in Blender with the baby hairs or whatever, and ethnic hairs, black hairs, whatever you want to call it. In the background, you may hear my daughter watching her tablet or bothering me, of course. And you may hear this smoke alarm steadily beeping. But yeah, so let's get started. This is the hair that I will be converting. This is how you export the mesh. It'll be a blend file, and this is how you export the texture. Alright, so this is the hair in Blender. I'm using Blender version 4.4. I would be using Blender version 4.1, which is my favorite, but I didn't know how to get the keystrokes like this to show in that version. So yeah, it doesn't matter what Blender version you use, whichever one that you're comfortable with. I know some people still use 2.67, 2.70, 3 point whatever, whichever one you're comfortable with. Alright, I'm going to delete the rig. Make sure you go here and click this. We are going to need head 2 and the studio meshes. Always get the head 2 and all of the studio meshes, and we're going to join those with Control J. And all this other stuff we can delete. Alright, so this is what we're left with, and we're going to open the Sims 3 body. Downloads. And I have it as a day file, and this is how it comes up, and I join all of those as well. Alright, so we're gonna hit this. I'm gonna come over here. I delete the base texture. We're gonna click use nodes. I'm gonna click this yellow button, go to image texture, hit this drop down, and we're gonna hit diffuse map. I'm gonna go down shader editor. I'm gonna click the alpha to the alpha, and we're gonna turn the specular all the way down. Alright, and this is what we have. And here, I'm gonna click edit mode, and we're gonna scale that up. I like to hold shift so it can scale slow, because if you don't, it goes kind of fast. So yeah. And myself, when I am doing this, I like to try to line up the chins with the chins or whatever. The Sims 4 head chin with the Sims 3 chin, and the eyes with the eyes if I can. But anyways, and scale it up some more. Okay, looks like it's a little high. Gonna bring it down. Okay. All right. And this part that's left, I'm going to sculpt it instead of scale it. And we're gonna go to sculpt mode, and we're gonna go to grab. I'm blind. Grab. So many. I hate this new version of Blender, but I'm using it just because I want to show y'all the keystrokes or whatever. Hold on. Okay, let me change this to layout because I don't like that. Alright. Couldn't find that button. Alright, we on grab already. Okay. Alright, well, my bad. All right, let me go back. Okay. See, when I'm on here, I don't like this new blender. Go back. Yeah, I need the radius. All right, and make sure you have X on. I still don't know how these are down here. Ew. Like, why? Okay, anyways, make sure you turn that back on. Okay, so we're gonna go up here. Make sure you have the X on. And me, I always like to have the strength at 0.4. Okay, so the X makes it so that you don't have to do both sides. Like, you don't have to do this side and then go do this side. You can do both at once. Like that. Okay. And since this is my second time doing this tutorial, I am going to scoot the baby hair out because in my last one, it needed a little more room. So when you do that, so when you're converting, make sure that your baby hair is a little further from your forehead or whatever, because if not, it'll clip. So, yeah. Um, Me, I just like to try to make sure that it's as perfect as can be, or whatever. That's just me, though. I try to make it as flat as I possibly can. That's just me. There's nothing really to sculpt. It looks pretty perfect, but the only important part really is the breast area. Since high poly hairs don't, you can't really give them morphs to move with the breasts for the most part anyway. But yeah, so yeah. Hmm? Oh, oh, okay. Y'all don't pay me no mind. Somebody just called me. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna sculpt this and move this up from the breast so that they don't clip with bigger breast sizes, you know? Um, doesn't have to be perfect, of course. I think that's pretty okay. Um, and that's what it looks like at the back and the front. All right, so we're gonna leave this as that. I think it looks pretty good. After that, we're gonna open up Photoshop. This is the texture. Some people, they know how to do the canvas size and change it to that. Me, I don't know how to do that very well. So me myself, I just copy the texture, make a new, and I do. And since I can see that this is a big texture size, I'm gonna do 4096 by 4096 and make that transparent. Press create, and I'm gonna press paste. And I'm gonna scoot this up because you don't want it to be hanging off the edge. I think that's pretty good. Okay. You don't have to always scoot them up. It really depends though. But you'll figure it out in Blender on whether you need to scoot it up or move. Yeah, scoot it up. I'll show y'all later. It doesn't. Okay. This is the texture. I'm going to size it down because I try to keep my textures no bigger than 2048 by 2048. And after that, everybody does this different. I just take the saturation down, bring up the lightness and press OK. And then I go to exposure. I want to make it white. I think that's pretty good actually. So this is going to be our texture. I'm gonna go ahead and save it as the DDS and overwrite the one I already did, of course. make sure you choose interpolated alpha. We want to keep the transparency here, so we're going to press save. All right, we're going to come back in here in Blender, click on the hair, make sure you open a new window so that you can see the UV on the other side. Okay, and go down here to shader editor, and it doesn't matter, X, open, click the one we just made. It's gonna look crazy like this, whatever, and that's okay, that's perfectly fine. And I'm gonna go to edit mode. It's already gonna have, for the most part anyway, it's already gonna have your texture that you already opened down here in shader editor, and you're gonna scale it on that y-axis and press 2, and we're gonna grab it and bring it down, bring it down. Okay, and like I said, sometimes you'll have to scoot it over. I'm gonna bring it to the right a little bit. Press that. Okay, looks like it could be brought over a little more, maybe. Let me double check. X. No. Okay. Yep. I thought the dot would be in the middle, but no. Okay, so this is good. We don't want. Gotta make sure. Let me scoot in some more. Okay. Yeah, no, that's good. Okay, so that is the hair after you've done the textures in Photoshop. Okay, looks pretty good. All right. As far as control maps, I'm not that great with them, but this is what I do. I do that. My green color is usually, RGB. G is for green, 255, 0 for red, 0 for blue. And I'm gonna fill that. And then gonna create a new layer. Select inverse and fill that and fill that with black. We select. Can't remember if I do. I don't think I do anyway. It's been I'm sorry. It's been a minute since I converted a hair, you guys. I think this is fine though. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it for this tutorial. And I'm gonna save, replace that since I already did it again in the first tutorial. So, alright, so this hair is, hold on, this hair is 54,841 polygons, and of course we want to decimate that and reduce it as much as we possibly can. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to do 0.5. I'm going to half it, and that gets us, I like to keep my hairs below 30K, and that gets us below 30K. It can go even lower and still look pretty good and decent actually. But like I said, I am just going to half it and press apply. Alright, so I'm going to export this as a wavefront OBJ. Alright, I'm going to do selection and hold on, one more thing. Here, of course, this is the hair. This down here is just the Sims 4 face. You don't have to keep all of that. If you want to help use it, like delete these, and like those are the eyes, you can delete those. We don't need those. If you want to delete even more vertices, like to save poly counts and stuff, you can delete all of these. Just make sure that you don't delete the parts that you need, like this part. That's part of the baby hairs. No, we need those. Let's see. I'm gonna press delete vertices. We're taking too much over here, so let's delete. Let's take those back. And now press one more. Hold on. This one. Okay, there you go. Alright. No, one more for this one side too. Nope, not that one. Okay, that's better. Alright, hold on. I'm doing too much. Probably. Okay, let me take some of these back. Hold on. Alright, okay, better. Alright, so that's that. And now we can export as mirror selection. Okay, nope, I'm sorry. One more time. Okay, okay, here it was. Me myself, I like to select only this part, which is the Sims 4 head, baby hair, whatever. And I like to make it its own selection and then export it. Again, mirror, selection only, objects, groups, and export. And I'm going to open Milkshape and import mirror. So that is the head, the Sims 4 head, and the hair. Alright, but this so I'm gonna hide this. This is the Sims 4 head. Myself, I like to align normals on it so that it can be smooth. This part here, or whatever, I think it's how the creator did the hair or the head themselves. But I like to make it as smooth as possible. I don't do that for the hair. And then I just group them together and rename it group base. And file export. Export is TSRW. And we're gonna export it as mirror. Open mesh toolkit. Okay, and we're going to go to Auto Tools, Auto Sign Bones. We're gonna go to mirror, and the reference that I am using is in a lasso hair. You're supposed to pick a hair that's about the same length as the hair that you're converting. If you don't understand this part, feel free to message me. Usually you just open a package file in TSRW, export the WSO, and then that is your reference. But yeah, if you need help, just feel free to message me or let me know. That's totally fine. But I already have mine saved. And I'm going to press do assignments and save. All right, and we are going to save this as mirror 2. And we're going to open TS4 Workshop. I use version 2.0.86 because that's my favorite version to use. I feel like it's, always works for me. All right, so create new project, new import, browse and package. Me myself, I always use a old hair. You can use one from Rolo Rose. Doesn't really matter because I like all of her hairs as well. I just use one new folder. I just use an old hair. Doesn't really matter. Let me pick. Where's it? I'm blind. What? Yeah, let me just pick this one. Okay, and that one is open. And we're going to import what we just saved. All right. Let that load up. And it's going to look crazy when you first open it. But we just have to import our textures and scroll down to hair textures. Edit, import. There you go. Press yes. So now we're looking pretty normal. And the quick control that I did, we're gonna press yes. Okay. So there's that. There's the hair. We're gonna rename it here. Simmer, Brandy Sims Mirror. I don't think I'm spelling that right. Me hair. I think that's it. Okay, if I know. All right, and I'm gonna press save. And here, make sure you click these three dots. Hit the drop down. Go to GEOM Vertices Editor, and change this to 8 Fs. And press copy to all and press done. These are your other LODs. I'm not gonna do these for tutorial purposes. But usually it's half your high level of detail is half of this one, and your medium is half of the high, and your low is half of the medium, usually anyway. But yeah, and also there's your specular map, which some people do and some people don't. I do them sometimes, but I won't for this tutorial. In normal maps as well, you can do those for the hairs as well, but I won't be doing it for this tutorial either. I don't really do normal maps for hairs, but yeah. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it for here. Always go down and make sure you have all the categories selected that you want, of course. You can export to Sims 3 pack and then convert it to package, or you can go here to edit project contents and then export it to package, which is what I'm going to be doing. I like to compress my hairs instead of just putting them in game like that. Yeah, this is my folder, and of course, like I said, I already did the hair earlier, so I'm just gonna overwrite that, and then I'm gonna bring it up so it can compress it. Desktop, this, and there it is. Make sure I remove these other ones that don't need to be here. We're gonna press go. So look what it took our package file to, save so much space. All right, so I'm gonna go get my hair, copy it, and go to my packages folder. This is just a new folder I created for testing my hairs. I'm going to delete the old one and make sure I paste this one. Okay, So we should be done with that. And I am going to load up my game. Mm. All right, and this is the hair. Let me turn off my reshade so we can see. This is the hair. Some black. Okay. Okay. Mm, yes, but sorry about that. Yes, but this is the hair. Um, seems like I missed a spot right there. But yeah, this is the hair. Um, play with the highlights or whatever. Mm, okay, but yes, this is the hair. Okay, black. Yeah. Okay. Um, this is the hair again. Mm, all right. Yeah, I'm just showing the control or whatever. But this is the hair. Um, this is what it looks like. The shine, the control.